Hello friends, we're back, we're feeding, and it's been a little over a week since our guys have been fed, and I actually have a bit of a plan. I need to rearrange some of this today because I really need some of my castings from, I think it was tier 2 that's almost emptied, so I can start some seedlings. So I'm going to show you guys how I plan on rearranging this. But we're going to start from the bottom, work our way up. So I'm going to disassemble as many as I can here. All right, well, interestingly enough, I just picked up the top two because I figured that's the two I can pick up easiest. Hello, little friend. And when I picked them up, as I was moving them, a worm ball that I think was trying to get up into the tier, because remember, we're starting to starve on this tier, fell. So I just picked them up and I threw them into this top tier. So we'll have to see how they move later. But just to make things a little bit easier, because this is the tier that we're starving. This is tier 1. And let me see if you guys can see on the camera. No, I don't think you can really see. Okay. So this is the one we're starving next. And I mean, there's clearly some castings here. We're already seeing a good amount of breakdown from just, the last week or so. I know there's plenty of worms in here, so I don't want to disrupt too many, but I just kind of want to show you guys the progress, because there's a lot of bedding in here, and I know there's a little bit of food in here, but like, human food. So I'm just going to let them keep working on this, but I feel good about the moisture levels, and so I'm just going to let them keep doing their thing. It's plenty comfortable, I think, in here for them. But this is going to be our new bottom tier, because I had put tier 2 down here that was pretty much done, remember, with the avocado test, but I need this. So this is going to be our new bottom, so I'm going to switch those out really quick. And just while we're here, I figured I'd show you guys, this is the bottom bin, where we've in the past seen either water or worms trying to hang out, and I see a few worm skeletons, which I'm not sure if they got stuck down here or dehydrated or what, but we're good on liquid and we're good on worms here. So we're gonna put these back on here just for the sake of the video before I pull this tier off to move it again. This is tier 2. This is the one that we've starved, and I saw just a few little guys in here. I haven't checked the avocados yet because I don't want to disrupt them, but I mean, just look how nice these castings look. I'm sure there's still a few worms in here, but these castings are beautiful. Oh yeah, they got a nice texture. Still plenty of moisture in them, so that's good. You don't want them to dry out completely, I read. So for now, I'm gonna let them sit over here on the freezer. And then on top of tier 1, I'm going to put the new tier that we started on top, so that way they can migrate up to them. So this is the first check-in for tier 4. It was a lot drier last week, which is why we had put these wet paper towels in. Looks like some guys already found some of the paper towels, which is great. And there really weren't a lot of worms put here, except for a few that we scooped out of another layer. But to try to entice some of the worms, if you recall, we put some berries in here in the middle. Okay, and I don't want to dig too hard because I'm sure there's a lot of them in there, but I don't see any berries left, so that's good. So we were going to feed them again. So I think on this, we'll start here. We'll start in the bottom right corner. Look, we have a special guest. We have Moose. You helping me? Hey, big fella, you gonna help me with the worms? Yeah, okay. Thanks, Moose. So we're gonna start in the bottom left corner over here, because there isn't really anybody over here, and it's obviously never been fed before here. Excuse me, Moose. I have some of this butternut squash, which I've never given to any of the worms before, but I honestly forgot about it. And then I froze it after cutting it up. Thanks, Moose. Thank you. You don't need to lick my squash for me. And I've never fed any to the worms before, but I would like to. And since this isn't a super wet tier yet, I'm going to use this because I know there's a lot of moisture in there. And I'm just going to put a little bit over here and see how they like it. Okay, Moose. Thanks for helping. Don't move. So this was frozen, even though there was mold on it. I froze it, and I've had it defrosting for a little bit. So I'm going to put the moldy part, even though it's moldy. I'm going to put that in here for them. And then I'm going to put some paper towel on top of it. No, we'll put the paper towel on top of the whole thing. But since it's still a little cold, I'm trying to make sure there's no worms in there. I'm just going to cover it up. There's apparently some avocado pieces that are left. And we'll put a little cover on top of it. And then we'll also use this other paper towel that's also slightly wet just to cover it so we can remember where we put it last time. So obviously we have a lot of butternut squash, or I think this was a butternut squash. Yeah, that got put in there. So I'm gonna try and use that in some of the feedings potentially. I did have my rolls ready to go as well. That's slightly juicy in their defrost. So we'll see how tier 3 is doing. But that is the oldest one that isn't being starved. And that's the one we just threw some of the worm ball in from tier 1 that was connected. So we're gonna move them next. All right, I expect there's gonna be some guys on the top here. Oh yeah, I can see you. Boop. Oh yeah, they're having a great time. All over the place. All right, I'm gonna just scoop some of these guys off so they don't fall onto the floor, because I think it's harder to pick them up off the floor. And I try to just gently scoop them. This is just silicone, the spoon that I'm using, so it's not super hard. And it just needs a gentle whoop. But clearly with all the castings on here, they're having a good time. I just don't want to put the cover down on anybody and then, have an unfortunate situation where they get stuck or something. So it's not everybody off the top, but it's enough of them. Oops, going the wrong way. Go back in. All right, we'll check on these guys soon. So this is tier 3, which apparently I put it on backwards. So we'll do it this way. All right, so tier 3. Boop. Looks good. Moisture level it doesn't look too wet, it doesn't look too dry in here. And according to my notes, tier 3 was fed 2 rolls in the back 2 corners last time because they were still finishing up some stuff in the middle. So let's take a look what we see here. I mean, just on first glance, obviously, like this is where I put the roll or the group of worms that were, I guess, falling. But we can see there's a big deficit over here, a little bit of a dip over here. I want to check the middle first because that was what they were working on last time. And 2 rolls is a lot, especially if there's already food. So I don't see any food here. So they clearly were working on that. So let's check. You know what these guys look like. Worm ball moment. They are doing okay. All right. Well, I can still see the paper or the toilet paper roll in there. So I'm not gonna. Maybe I will pry a little bit. Yeah, there's definitely some people starting in there, but it's not, in a crazy state. Let's see. This is an empty one. I was just thinking if I could use these for baiting some of the other levels. So you could reuse the avocado shells, but I'm not sure this one's in the best shape. But we'll leave it here, just so they have like a little playground. And then let's see over here. This is an old avocado from the migration. They're still working on the fat. Oh, whoops. All right, well this you guys probably couldn't see, but I could feel the food, like the toilet. Oh, There's some guys in here working away. Okay, so they're working on it. They got some work to do, but the rolls don't feel like they have a lot of food in them, especially this one. It feels more hollow. So I'm gonna go ahead and then feed these corners here because I want to get a healthy group going. And I think the people that are in the toilet paper rolls are probably going to be in there for a little bit. So then hopefully some of the other guys that are just hanging out over here can get some good nutritious food, because there's not really a lot of guys over here. So since we have the opportunity with the squash being here, I think I would like to do a little experiment. So I'm going to take, this is a giant piece of squash. I'm going to put it upside down in this corner here. Then the other corner, I am going to try and take, let's see if I can get one of these out without it breaking on me. One of these toilet paper rolls that also has some premium food like strawberries and whatnot in there that went bad. I'm going to just, some of them look like they fell out the top. So we'll smush them back in there. So we'll put one toilet paper roll over here, and then we'll leave one squash over there. So these are both pretty juicy foods, so we're gonna cover them really well over here with as much of our bedding and whatnot as we can. And I'm gonna leave the paper towels up there on that area from last time, because I would like to put a little bit more paper towels in this here. So I'm just gonna, here, I'll put you guys here so you can see. I have these existing paper towels that I always use that were briefly used in the kitchen or something in capacities that don't have a lot of chemicals or anything on them. So I would like to make sure we don't get too crazy with the moisture levels or anything. I feel pretty good about that. I'm a little not worried, but I'd like to be preventative, so I'm just going to sprinkle a few of the mosquito bites in here, so that way if it does get too wet and there's moisture growing, the mosquito bites will start dissolving, and then that way any gnats or gnats mostly that we're worried about will not try and get involved in our bins, so again, which is good. And then I have my grits for, grit that they need. And I'm going to put just a small full sprinkling in here. Since this is a new bin, we'll give them a little grit if they would like it. And that's probably all the grit I'll put in for a little bit. And then I'm also going to add just a bit of bedding to help absorb some of the moisture levels, because I think that we added all that frozen stuff, even though it's defrosted, there's still a lot of liquid. So I'm going to put some bedding, I think just in the middle where it's kind of uncovered right now. That feels good. We don't want to put too much in. And I'm going to go ahead and try and get the rest of these worms in here from the cover back into tier 3, because I'm going to actually try and leave the cover off just for a day or two to try and get some of the final worms out of that top tier. And I'd hate for anybody to get left behind. And so I'm going to just scoop all these guys in, and I'll come back when they're all in here. Alright, so we scooped the worms off of the cover into tier 3. And what I'm going to do here is, this is the tier 2 that is just about done. I'm going to check on our little avocados, see if there's anybody in the ground here that I can easily scoop. Looks like no. Alright, we'll check this one, see if there's anybody here. Oh, I see a few of you. Oh, okay, more than a few of you. Alright, not as few as I thought. Alright, fine. And then let's check this one then. Nope, okay, nobody in that one. Alright, oh, a little bit. Okay, maybe there was one or two. All right. And then let's check this big guy over here. Oh, yep. There's a few over here. All right. So I expected some. I did not expect this many here in the middle. But that's fine. What we're going to do is we're just going to put this back on, and I'm going to, I think I'm just going to move this part right here into the other bin because I think this is food. Looks like avocado meat. And then, hello. Yeah, there's a few guys in here. All right. Well, not what I was hoping for. Just gonna scoop that avocado piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'll even it back out. I'll leave them be. And then I'm going to take this level 2, put it on here without the cover. We're gonna leave the windows open and the sunshine will come in and hopefully convince them to go south to bin 3 below them, or tier 3 below them. At least that's what I'm gonna hope for. So I'm gonna leave the windows open. It's indirect light right now. I think later in the afternoon it might get a little bit more sunny in here, but they won't ever be in, or they won't be in super direct light. But we're gonna leave this like it is, all the windows open. I'm considering trying to get some clips or something and wrap the bottom, so like something like this, and just wrap it around the sides, so that we still can control any of the gnats and whatnot that come up on the other side. Let's see if I'll see if I can find some clips that'll hold this in. All right, I got some of my cruising clips. So it's not like we're going cruising anymore. If you guys are cruisers, you probably recognize these clips. Amazing must-haves for your bathroom. So hopefully it'll be a little harder for any gnats to work their way into the side when it's open like this, and hopefully there's enough residual daylight that will help encourage these worms to go deeper. I'm considering trying some of the methods where you pull them, pull all the dirt up and then let them kind of go down, and then you scoop the top up. But part of the benefit of having these is, or the stacking system, is that they can migrate on their own without too much hassle. So I'm hoping we'll get the hint that this tier is closed and we can have access to this pretty worm free in the next day or two. Fingers crossed.